Welcome back, everyone, to another bonus episode of Captain's Log. This is our Lost Log series. We are back to finish off the My Romantic Cabin Getaway Creepypasta series. You might have thought, well, Jose, you said last time that you had split the main story into two parts. Isn't that it? No, because Mr. Felix Blackwell, the author of the story, wrote a prologue. Well, not even really a prologue, it's just a third part to it, or a second part to the story. It's just much shorter. It's a
sequel.
It's a sequel. Yeah. So we're gonna be reading this sequel, and then that'll be it, and we'll have a different topic for the next Lost Log. If you haven't listened to the previous two parts of this story, go ahead and check those out. Also, our first Lost Log was a A Vincent Price radio drama that Mason and I and our friend Mr. Maxwell Benyon read, which was very fun. So go check that one out. Anyway, here is this one. Let's just get into it. Any thoughts? Anything you'd like to say before we begin, Mason?
We're back. We're back, baby.
We're back on video. Finally, yes. That's on me. I kept procrastinating getting a webcam, but finally we did it.
So you can find us now.
So you can.
Pieces of shit.
Yeah. Fuck you. Wait, who are we saying this to?
I don't think we can't both hate the audience.
Oh, right. No, Mason, don't say that.
Fucking pricks. All right, let's move on.
All right, so we'll be switching off like we did last time. Mason will read a paragraph or a section basically, and then I will read the other one, kind of thing. So I'll go ahead and start off, Mason.
Okay.
You remember all the characters within the story? You remember what had happened?
I remember.
Spooky
I guess
voices,
just for the audience,
cabin.
They were being followed by a ghoul.
Some sort of ghoul, yes.
That could transform.
They called it the empty ones. Was that right? The hollow ones.
The hollow ones. Yes.
It had a very intricate Native American name, which I don't remember, unfortunately.
And it could mimic people's voices perfectly.
Right.
And it would get in your brain, and it would try to kill you.
Right.
And the characters are me.
Yes.
And my fiancé, Jose.
Fiancé /
when I'm reading, and when Jose's
host.
Reading, it's Jose,
right,
and his fiancé, me.
Mason.
Which is a bit that, in hindsight, is confusing.
Oh, yeah.
But we've done 2 whole parts of it now.
So now we have to keep it up.
And we're not stopping.
So yeah, just know that the story is written from the perspective of Felix. And so whenever we read it, we step in for Felix's part, basically. So, anyway. All right, we're overcomplicating. Let's just get into it. Last month, my fiancé / co-host Mason, and I went to his parents' cabin up in Pikes Peak, Colorado, and had a set of extremely weird and terrifying experiences.
I'm sorry, this is taking place a month later?
I guess, yeah, wow. It
seems like that was a year's
right,
worth of stuff we spanned,
He's just this all took place over the course of one weekend. And we're like, what?
He traveled back and forth to Colorado 3 times.
No, that was, I guess it's only been a month since it happened. So, last month, my fiance / co-host Mason and I went to his parents' cabin up in Pikes Peak, Colorado, and had a set of extremely weird and terrifying experiences. We found an old dream catcher on a tree in the woods out back, and at night we heard a series of unsettling voices calling out from the forest. At first we thought someone was messing with us, but then the voices began to take on recognizable traits. We heard Mason's grandfather calling out for help. He's been dead since 2012, and my mother laughing. She lives 700 miles away. Faye got sick and began talking in her sleep, and at one point, the voice of a woman outside began to repeat some of the things Faye was mumbling, as though they were communicating. I documented the entire experience here on No Sleep and received overwhelming support from fellow Redditors. Thousands of people have gotten involved with helping us out. Everything has been going really great up until a few days ago.
I'm sorry. I haven't posted about this matter in a while, but Jose and I have been trying to forget. Especially with his weird sleep disorder, the best course of action for us was to try and bury what had happened and move on with our lives. The more upset and stressed out he became, the more he sleepwalks and the more he sleep talks. And that is when scary things happen. For those of you who haven't read the prior stories, my fiancé/co-host has suffered from extensive sleep disturbances since he was 5. He has night terrors and is an accomplished sleepwalker. At the request of other Redditors, I interviewed him so you can hear all about our weird experiences. Okay. Long story short, some of oh my god. I don't know if I can fucking read today.
Or ever, it fucking seems.
Long story short, some sort of entity became fixated upon him while we were at the cabin in Colorado and made several attempts to coax him into the woods. When those attempts failed, it came after me. It followed both of us home to California and Iowa and Utah respectively, and tried to get into our house at night by communicating with Jose while he sleepwalked. We were both exposed to whatever it was to the point it made us ill. A family friend, Nathan, essentially...
A family friend, Felix? It's the son of the guy who was murdered trying to help you. A family friend. Okay.
It was just a Native American. I mean, you guys were... I bet he wouldn't call you friends.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Nathan's like,
Nathan
yeah,
essentially
it's that
forced
who
us...
got my dad killed.
Yes. It's those white people who couldn't well leave enough alone.
Yeah.
Nathan essentially forced us to puke our guts out in a spiritual purging process, although I wish he told us first because we destroyed the living room carpet. We thought it was over when Jose went back to normal and returned to his playful, funny self. He got his strength back, not just physically, but his strength of personality returned as well. He's been feisty and won't put up with any of my shit, which is a great sign that he is feeling better. And he's been wearing his engagement ring, which hasn't left his finger since we got back. But 2 nights ago, weird things started to happen. I absolutely dread writing this because I know that by paying attention to it, I risked exacerbating the situation. But the part of the carpet where we lost our lunch is permanently stained and rather dark because I couldn't afford to get a decent carpet cleaner out on time. When we were watching/crying through the new Game of Thrones on Sunday, Faye pointed out to... I mean, relax. What is he, sponsored by him?
Yeah.
Jose pointed out that the stain looked like it was in the shape of the man, about 3 feet long, and basically looks like some kind of 2-dimensional troll. We made some Rorschach jokes about it and then went to bed. Because, you know, like, remember when we almost got murdered?
Right, yeah. Wasn't that hilarious?
Yes. I rolled over in the middle of the night to put my hand on Jose's back, and the second I touched that empty space on the bed, 1,000 horrible thoughts rushed through my mind. Jose hadn't slept walk since things had settled down, and I feared this was an omen that our visitor had returned.
Right away.
I found him downstairs. He was sitting cross-legged in the dark, spine straight, right in front of the TV. The TV was off, his eyes were closed, but he was running his fingers across the stain on the carpet, whispering to it and giggling. I raced over and threw the light on, foregoing my rule of never waking him up abruptly from a bout of sleepwalking. I just didn't want this to be happening again, and I couldn't accept it. Just before I shook him awake, he said,
"How could I forget?"
He had no idea where he was when he came to. He seemed unusually upset that I had woken him up, as if he were in the middle of some very good dream, but then appeared frightened when I told him what was happening. I asked him if he remembered anything, but he said no. I can't tell if he fucking lied to me or not. On the way back up the stairs... He inexplicably vomited all over the wall. It was the same dark brown black color that Nathan when Nathan made them throw up the first time. Okay.
Yeah.
At this point, I was completely freaking out. I tried to keep my cool, helped Jose into bed, got him some water, made sure he was all right. He was absolutely fine and couldn't explain why he puked. Then I shut off the light, closed the bedroom door, and spent about half an hour trying to clean up the goddamn wall. I mentioned in my previous post that I'm a metaphobe. So cleaning vomit is basically the worst form of punishment I can imagine. But what about being possessed? would be a little worse than having to
Right.
clean up. I'd clean up like 6 pools of vomit before I would.
Oh
choose
yeah,
to be
for sure,
possessed.
right? Yeah.
No matter how hard I scrubbed, the stain would not come out. It splattered roughly in the shape of a man because of the fact that Jose was standing halfway up the stairs and barfed down the wall. This time the stain was much longer than the one on the carpet. It was like 5 feet tall.
Okay. So a short king, you know? It's a short king.
Short kings.
Yeah.
We stand short kings.
Oh
Did I
yeah,
use
for
that
sure.
right?
Yeah.
Am I
Yeah.
speaking like a kid?
Yeah, I think the TikTokers will appreciate that. Yeah.
It's 420.
There we go. Ah, we got them. They're back on board now. When I finally got in bed, Mason was still awake and was kind enough to give me a really nice shoulder rub as I laid there in a heap, like co-hosts do. I was nauseated and terrified. He tried to reassure me, but we both knew what was happening. Whatever it is that's fascinated with him is back, or it never
Jose,
left.
how many times do I have to tell you I'm not fucking the monster?
I think you're fucking the monster, Mason.
I'm not fucking the monster. You keep acting like I'm fucking the monster. I'm not fucking the monster.
What does his
Pinky
cock look like?
promise. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know where the curve is and how nice it is because I haven't seen it. So
I was gonna make a joke and then I
you
choked
always
on my
do
fucking
this. I
spit.
didn't fuck the monster. You always do this, Jose.
You're fucking the monster. I want a divorce. I want a podcasting divorce.
Fine, but I want the podcast on weekends.
Wow, some juicy drama here. I don't know how long we sat there talking, but eventually I passed out. Mason lying in my arms. He said a few more things in his sleep, but I could never quite catch them. I was just too tired.
Nice dick.
What was that?
I'm asleep. Nice guy.
He's fucking a monster, isn't he? The next day, I tried to reach out to Nathan, but he wasn't answering his phone. I had to work, so I didn't see Mason all day. I got home before he did, so I spent several hours jumping at every sound outside while grading my students' final papers. Oh, that's right, he's a fucking teacher. I forgot. Because he doesn't act like one, right?
Right, yes.
When he did get
Teachers
home...
are people too, Jose.
No, they're not. They when the class is over, they turn off the lights and then they go like a robot into a little cubby and then they just shut down for the night. Yeah. I work with teachers, so I would know.
Wouldn't that mean you do that?
No, I'm a teaching assistant. It's different. I guide. This is stupid. Anyway, when he did get home, he said he'd felt sick all day and just wanted to go to sleep. So we went upstairs and showered and then got into bed. Around 10:30 p.m., I shut off my laptop and headed upstairs. Faye was sitting on the bed. Mason was sitting on the bed. I don't know who the fuck Faye is. Feet on the ground, staring out at the open window into the woods across the street.
Ass cheeks spread out against the window.
Mason, stop! There are children in this neighborhood.
Oh, you're sleepwalking again. No, I'm just doing this.
I gently laid him down, rubbed his back until he snored. That's the only way to guarantee he won't get up for a long time. And inspected the whole house. I don't know if I'm just freaking myself out or if I'm tired, but the vomit stains seemed bigger now than they were before. I'm calling a guy tomorrow to come do a professional cleaning, but I'm pissed because I know I'm going to get stuck with a $200 bill for the job.
He
Fuck
is so
off.
nonchalantly concerned about some things.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if Cheyenne were possessed,
Uh-huh.
I'd be like, let's go move in with your parents for a little
Right.
bit.
Yeah.
Because it's the...
He's
so mad
He's
about
upset
it.
about fucking having to hire someone to clean the fucking demonic vomit
It's
that
like
is on his
would
wall.
be
Like, he's not
my
upset
s-
about the demonic vomit as much as he is about having to pay $200 to clean it.
He would be just upset if it were juice.
Yeah, yeah, apparently.
kinda-
right,
you know
yeah,
what
exactly,
I
yes.
mean?
He's given
It
the
doesn't-
same amount of, yeah.
He's mad at the stain, not at the fact that the stain is clearly a demon.
Right, yeah. I checked the backyard and didn't see anything, then made sure the front door was locked and all the windows were sealed tight. The last window I checked was the one in the guest room, the one on which Faye had drawn the number 5. Mason, who the fuck is Faye? had drawn the number 5 backwards in while sleepwalking. I stood there for a long time. It was late and dark, and all the memories of last month's events just kept cycling through my mind over and over. I felt dizzy and sleepy, almost hypnotized. It was a strange feeling.
That's 2 of the dwarves.
Sleepy and dizzy. That's pretty good.
It's 2 of the...
Yeah. An ineffable mixture...
Creepy.
An ineffable mixture of strange relaxation and terror. I cannot explain to you why I did this, but without even thinking about it, I reached down my hand and lazily drew a backwards 5 on the window. And in that tiny little moment, I saw something move behind the trees across the street. Mason abruptly burst into sleep laughter from down the hall. As I walked back to the bedroom in the dark, I could hear him giggling the entire way. Nothing else to report for now. It's 10:31 p.m. on a Tuesday as I write this. I'm going to go to sleep. We'll update if there are any new developments. I pray there aren't.
I know, it's only 5 inches.
Mason?
Huh? Oh,
who are you talking to? What are you talking about?
I'm asleep. I can't hear you. I'm asleep. A lot of Redditors have mentioned that since I retrieved Jose's ring from the creepy dreamcatcher, it's possible it's been cursed. After all, the ring was given back to me from the monster.
Right.
It could be what is causing all the new disturbances around my house. So, Jose and I have decided to take a long trek back to Pikes Peak, from whence the evil ring came, and destroy it by throwing it into the mine at the top
he made the same joke
of the mountain
that you made.
Oh, we've gathered a fellowship. Oh, he did make the same joke. Oh, but he also did say, just kidding.
Right.
But seriously, a lot of people have speculated that the ring is now the problem, and I am taking this into consideration. But Jose is not willing to part with it right now. Seeing as how he just got it back, but also seeing as how, like, the monster gave it back and he's possessed. I just feel like this guy is like
take the fucking ring away.
This guy is Alexander Skarsgård in Kong and Skull Island.
Yes,
where he's just
right.
like, huh? You what? It's the man-shaped stain keeps getting closer to the bedroom, and you keep laughing like you're best friends with it, and you don't want to get the ring away, and he just gave it back to you. I just don't.
This guy's
Millie Bobby Brown's gonna have to figure this one out. Okay. Anyway, Jose's not willing to part with it right now, as he just got it back, but the entity seeking Jose did curse the ring and got me to break the Dreamcatcher to receive it. It could be a more clever ruse than I have anticipated. More on this if I decide to make a move. Okay. We had a professional carpet cleaning service. We had a professional carpet cleaning service come out yesterday and try to tackle the puke stain situation. The guy told me over and over again, "That's not a vomit. I can get vomit out." It took him a long time, but he finally managed to get most of the stain off the carpet. But also, what is this guy, a specialty in vomit removal?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
No one said, okay, fine, it's not vomit. Fuck you. Mind your business and clean the stains, stain cleaner.
You fuckwit.
It took him a long time, but he finally managed to get most of the stain off the carpet in the living room and recommended we get checked out at a hospital. I told him to mind his fucking business, dickbag.
Yeah, what?
No, I'm just kidding. I told him we already had. Some parts of the carpet are still spotted and ruined, and he gave me a discount. The wall in the stairway is another story. The guy took one look at it and said we needed to paint it. But I insisted the stain had to be removed before doing so. He told me to strip and sand the wall, or he could come back and do it on his day off for me for a small fee. I told him I'd take care of it, and he made an exorcism joke and left. I was not amused. But that guy, the cleaner was like, "Buddy, you shit your pants?"
What is this shit? You shit on the fucking wall?
I've cleaned vomit out of every kind of carpet there is. This is shit.
It's Mark Wahlberg.
You shit your pants.
Yeah, it's Mark Wahlberg running this carpet cleaning service.
You gotta do. Yeah, you got shit all over the carpet. You just got the shit on the carpet. There's nothing we can do about it.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I know. Look, I'm super relatable. I know I'm funny because there's shit on the carpet. I get it. It's funny. It's funny to get shit on your carpet, but buddy, you can't do it.
That's pretty good.
I can't clean this shit off this carpet. I can't. And that wall, that fucking wall, you're gonna have to sand it. You're gonna have to sand it. You're gonna have to paint it. This is just a nightmare. You can't get that shit off the wall. You can't. I'll tell you what. I gotta go back to the store, beat a Vietnamese man half to death.
Fuck.
Everyone's gonna forget about that and act like I'm America's sweetheart. I'm the kid committed a hate crime. I never even apologized.
Anyway, catch Mark Wahlberg's new movie, Carpet Cleaners, this summer. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Anyway.
Carpet cleaners and misdemeanors.
Right.
I'm sorry. It was a felony, what he did.
Yeah. Mason came home very excited yesterday. He got a promotion at his job.
Did you fucking hear about Mark Wahlberg?
Mason, that's old news. We're moving on. We celebrated by going out to dinner at our favorite steakhouse. He ordered his normal meal, thank God, and had a few drinks. I don't drink at all, so I was the DD for the evening. When we got home, we pretty much went right to bed.
I'm sick of you thinking you're fucking better than me, I'm saying.
God, Mason, see, this is why we're in public. Stop.
Fuck you. You're so fucking much better than me with your fucking you don't drink.
Oh my God, did you hear about Mark Wahlberg?
God, don't even get me fucking started.
When we got home, we pretty much went right to bed. And on the way upstairs, he drunkenly said,
"Fuck that guy,"
and pointed a lazy hand at the stain on the wall. That night, I had a very strange dream. I dreamed I was trying to scrub the stain off the wall, just like I had a few days ago. But this time, I was scrubbing in the dark. Moonlight was just barely seeping through the window and illuminating the outline of a man.
Scrubbing in the moonlight.
The outline of the stain, sorry. Oh, that's a good song, Scrubbing in the Moonlight. That's my favorite song. Which looked more like a man than ever before, and loomed over me as I crouched there on the stairs. But then, something weird happened.
What is that? Is that a dick? Is this stain got a
Jesus
dick now?
fucking Christ.
Look at the cock on the stain.
The stain's dick is in my mouth. That was a joke there. But then something weird happened. The wall underneath the stain turned mushy, like oatmeal, and gave way to my hand. Ugh. This is like the thing when they go to, but not as scary, but like, you know the thing when they go to like hit it with the defibrillator or whatever, and it just
oh,
like
it eats his arms? Yeah. I think this one sounds more like it went like yeah. You know what I mean? Like when like Jello.
Right, yeah.
Like
My arm went right through the drywall. Yeah. When I pulled it out, there was a faint light coming through the hole. I pushed more and more of the squishy wall away. It crumbled and plopped into the floor on the other side. At last, I cleared a hole big enough to squeeze through. It led into a what? Oh, this is a dream, right? I thought this was happening.
To fuck the wall.
He's like,
I can fit in that.
all right, okay, nobody's around. Let's see what this feels like. It led into a familiar place. I realized I was where I was the second I stepped in. It was freezing cold, even in the dream. I was in the cellar of the cabin, where I'd found all those jars and that hair, where I'd found the pieces needed to make more dream catchers. I felt instantly afraid and turned around to go back into my house, but the wall was sealed shut. The only way out of the cellar was through the open panels at the top of the wooden staircase, leading to the outside. Snow was falling down onto the stairs. I remember seeing something on the ground behind one of the shelves. I picked it up and instantly recognized its importance. It made me feel like I understood everything better. But before I could see what it was, I was woken up by Mason. We were still in bed. He was sitting up against the pillows, running his fingers across my neck and back. He was looking down at me, smiling. But his hair was dangling in such a way that it obscured his face a little, and the moon lit him up from the window behind him, so he looked different. I recognized my fiancé's hair and body, but his face looked old and weathered, like an old man's. At that point, I noticed his hand felt different too. It was rough and heavy, like a guy's. It took me a second to realize that he was probably asleep, so I sat still and just watched him.
Like, don't freak out. I'm wearing my old man makeup. That's why I look like this.
Oh, thank God. Okay. After a few moments of this, he abruptly got out of bed and walked to the door, mumbling to himself about
the goddamn sound again.
I followed him quietly, wondering what he'd do. He walked through the hall, never searching for the light switch, and stood at the top of the stairs. He started whisper arguing with something down there in the dark, like when a couple is bickering in public but they're trying to hide it. He said,
He doesn't know. He has no clue.
Mason, what?
I'm going away. I'm asleep. You need to. This whole thing is his just wife cheating on him with another dude. It's not even a demon.
Right,
it's just
yeah.
a guy.
Yeah. But he's like, no, it has to be a demon. There's no way.
I think it's a demon. He's a fucking idiot. He thinks you're a demon still. He has no clue. You need to leave. You need to get the fuck out of here and never come back. I don't know any of them. I don't know anybody. Is that you? Who's with you? Who's making all that noise? You just gonna stand there? You're gonna stand there and call my name all night? Why don't you come up here then, huh? Big guy, huh? Why'd you come up here? You think I don't know what you're doing? Yeah, I know what you're doing.
The last thing she said was,
we don't know! Leave us alone!
He shouted it so loud it took me off guard and momentarily paralyzed me with fear. I rushed over and grabbed him before he could fall down the stairs. He told me to get off of him, and that he didn't need help.
Get the fuck off of me. I don't need your fucking help.
Did you hear about Mark Wahlberg? Funny.
Fuck, don't even get me fucking started.
Then brushed past me toward the bedroom. Along the way, he vomited. I got to spend another hour trying to clean that up while he slept soundly. And guess what?
Like a quick walk and they just been like, bleh.
Bleh. It wasn't until writing this that I realized the stain has been making its way closer and closer to the bedroom. Yeah, Felix. Fucking idiot. What are you talking
Obviously, dummy.
You goddamn moron.
This morning before work, I talked to Jose about what had happened last night. He had no recollection of any of it, including barfing up our expensive dinner. Shut up, dick. Okay, your fiance's possessed. Leave the dinner, like, really? Threw up your steak. Okay, well...
Well, fuck off, alright, man?
Well, I also have a demon in me, so... But he did say that he heard several voices outside the house early this morning. He said that there was a child calling out, "Where is she? Where is she?" And a man grumbling angrily. But she couldn't see or make out his words. He also said I was talking in my sleep this morning, which is something I almost never do. Jose agreed to seeing the doctor again because of the vomiting. He also mentioned to me after reading the Reddit comments that hypnotism might be a good thing to try, so we are looking for one in our town. More on that if anything develops. Also, his older sister, Becca, is coming to town for a few days to visit us and see how things are going. Becca lives in Arizona with her family and infant son, so I've only ever actually met her on a handful of occasions. It'll be nice having some extra people in the house for once. In other news, Nathan is still not returning my calls, so I might try the Ranger tonight.
Nathan's just it's this fucking white man again. Won't fucking leave me alone. It's just text messages like, Nathan, you up? Like with a bunch of emojis and shit. He's like, oh my god.
Hold on. I can take care of this. Just let him kill you.
Oh, sorry. I just saw this. I was with my family all day. Oh, you're not going to believe this. I fell asleep. You know how the fucking excuses girls text you when you're like, I didn't hear from you. And they're like, oh my god, I was so tired after work. I went straight to sleep. You're like, but I saw your story and you were out partying. Oh, that was my family. Anyway, listen, you're a great guy and all.
I just don't think this is working. Now let me return to my job as CEO of an upstart tech company. I just felt like we needed to break out of the stereotype.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
Before that got dicey.
Right, yeah. Is that bad that we do that voice? Is that bad? Whatever. It'll come back and haunt us later, right? We don't mean any offense by it.
Yeah, maybe in 50 years. I might try to text the Ranger tonight. I also want to let you know that it's finals week, both for me as a graduate student and for the other undergraduate students that I teach. So
I thought he was a teacher.
He's a graduate student. And he teaches undergraduate students. But he's not an undergrad, he's a grad.
He's like a tutor?
I think he's literally what your job is, only on a college
scale.
Right,
I think so.
I think he's literally
he's just a teaching assistant.
Where he's like,
or a student teacher or whatever.
He did the 4 years, and so now he's qualified to like.
Yeah, I think
teach.
he's just a student
Yeah.
teacher. Yeah.
But like at a college, well, it's different though, because it's like you're good enough that to teach the classes, but
Right.
you're so good at this that you can do the shittier part of my job.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so exactly what you do.
Right. Exactly.
As a teacher's bitch, is that what it's called?
Yeah, that's my official title. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I might be able to update every other day like I usually do. If I'm missing a day or two extra, don't be alarmed. I'm keeping a close eye on Jose. I have one last thing to report. Today at lunch, I put my head down in my office and drifted off for a few minutes. This is unusual for me because I am a chronic insomniac and do not take naps. Never. But I had another dream.
Teeway.
Teeway, that's right. Teeway came to me. For those of you who don't know.
Teeway came on me.
Teeway was the Native American man who lived on Pikes Peak and is the father of Nathan. And Teeway blessed our cabin and helped Jose and I in our struggle for the last month. He died in the woods under mysterious circumstances during my last night at the cabin. Anyway, in the dream, I was looking out at our bedroom window, and Teeway was standing at the tree line across the street. It was really him, not the creature that did a horrifying impersonation of him. It was him. He was pointing into the forest. I think I'm supposed to go in there, but I don't know whether I can trust my own dreams anymore. That is where the imposter hides.
When imposter is sus.
Oh God. Ugh. I don't like that. I don't.
You've seen
I
that,
didn't
right?
like that. Yes.
When the imposter is sus. Da-da-da. Read that little bit that he wrote there.
Every day we strive further from God. I literally just got to work 30 minutes ago, and I got a call from Jose's boss. I'm on their emergency contact list. They sent him home for behaving erratically, and I'm on my way home now. I got a call that my wife was having concerning behavior, and I immediately got on here and wrote a little paragraph about it.
Yeah. He's
now I'm
logging
going to
in
pick her
slowly.
up.
He's like, wow, fuck, what's my password? And he's just like checking his notifications on Reddit. He's like, oh, all right, cool. Oh, fuck, right. I gotta get going. My wife's in trouble.
Shit.
Sorry for the long wait, no sleep. I really do appreciate your concern. I can't even describe how busy I am right now. Faye's older sister Becca and her baby son Caleb are here, staying in the guest room. It's finals next week for my students, so I'm hosting tons of meetings with them. And I've only got one of 3 major projects done for my doctoral advisor. And I'm grading a huge stack of essays.
Can we meet and talk about the final paper? I have some questions. Absolutely, Caleb. I just have to deal with my fiance's progressing
Demonic possession.
demonic possession. I couldn't think of a better way to word that. We'll fit you in at 5:15. Have you ever puked up black goo? Question mark. Sent from iPhone. Because you know how all your professors
Right, yeah.
always
It's
send.
always, they still have the fucking the signature thing left on or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, and something, I'm grading a huge stack of essays. Oh, and something is trying to steal my fiance's skin or mind control him into killing me or something. So yeah, it's been pretty busy around here. How about you?
God.
I want to be absolutely transparent about something because a lot of people have been asking me. Yes, this series is now being turned into a book. At the behest of a humongous amount of No Sleep and Story Pick readers, we successfully crowdfunded it this week. I did not mention any of this in my post because Reddit has strict rules against advertisement, and I have grown very fond of the community here on No Sleep. I really never want to get into trouble. Here's the thing, right? I understand that this is Felix Blackwell, the author, writing this bit in, but it's
Yes.
funny because it's it's still the character Felix writing this in, which I just you could have kept that out because it feels like in the midst of everything that's happening, he's like, guys, it's crazy, it's so scary. By the way, we're actually turning this into a book. It's going great. We crowdfunded it. We're gonna be hopefully making a lot of money from this. Thank you guys so much. My fiance's trying to kill me, but at the same time, we're getting this book off the ground. It's very exciting. Like,
it's weird. It's crazy how
I think this is what would happen if an influencer was in a horror movie. Is they would turn that experience into like.
It is crazy that they won't. They won't just just drop the character to be like, hey guys, this is awesome, thank you. You know, I mean it's fine. I guess I get it. Yeah. But
by the way, if anybody is wondering, the book is called what is it called? Lost Tongues or something like that. I think is what it's called.
I think it's called Cooked by a Monster.
Yes. Sorry. It's Stolen Tongues is what it's called. Anyway, I thought the Hollow was a good title,
look it up and take a look at it.
Take a look at it. Tell us what you think.
Support this guy. He put a lot of work into this.
Yeah, definitely. More than I am willing to do. So.
Yeah.
Secondly, I feel that my experience at the cabin and the subsequent events are becoming overlong, and my biggest fear is that people here are going to get sick of hearing from me. So I'm going to try to post less and say more. Okay.
That's saying the same amount, though, if you just, like...
Right.
Instead of splitting... Yeah. I took 2 pages, and I made 2 posts. Now, though, I'm posting 2 pages in 1 post.
Right.
You're welcome. No, it's the same amount. I said you're welcome. Anyway.
No, that's exactly what he did, because this one is longer, too, yeah.
Yeah. It's okay, so it's Friday morning. And my ass hadn't even warmed the seat in my office before I get a call from Jose's boss notifying me that once again, Jose is acting erratic.
Hey, Mason, listen. So Jose's been acting a little weird.
He's been acting like, what's he like doing? Is he doing that thing like that? Is he doing the Family Guy bit again? Because I tell him constantly not to talk about that.
Oh, you mean that hilarious bit that he does about the soda biscuits from Family Guy?
Yeah,
no, that's not it.
We don't have to talk about it.
He pulled his pants down in the middle of a meeting and took a shit on the conference room table. Look, I don't want to get the authorities involved, so I'm just going to have you come and pick him up.
Erratic, in fact, to the point that they sent him home from work. He apparently stood in the open doorway of one of the storehouses, staring into the darkness within, not moving for several minutes. Okay, that's just like things that I did I've done that at the movie theater.
Right.
Especially at night when everybody left. It wasn't even zoning out. I was just like, if I had a gun, it would have been at my temple, but instead I was just like just staring into the dark theater, just like, oh fuck.
Oh man, we gotta.
Just for someone to be like, excuse me, sir. I'm like, oh my god, what? And they're like, can we go into the movie now? And I'm like, that's fine.
Go ahead, yeah.
Did you get popcorn? All right. Cool.
Oh.
Not moving for several minutes. A coworker tried twice to get him to snap out of it, but he did not. A few minutes later, the boss came over and found Jose inside, standing in the shadows, looking out. It was pitch black inside the storehouse, so when the boss flipped on the lights, he found Jose standing there in the corner, just smiling up at him, eyes unfocused. A few seconds later, he came right out of it and went back to work. Jose, we've talked about this. You can't keep crying in the storerooms. I know you can't. You try to use the bathrooms, crying. Please. At least you.
I think it's allergies. Okay, well, I gotta go back to work.
Kids are gonna teach themselves. They said that my pants look dumb today.
Fuck those kids, man. Fucking kids were like, "Are you wearing skinny jeans?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they were like, "Ha ha!" And I was like, "What the fuck?
What do you mean, ha ha? You little nerds! These are awesome.
You're wearing cargo shorts. Fuck off."
Tan Fran from Queer Eye says those are tacky as shit. Okay. About an hour later, my fiancé allegedly claimed that he could feel eyes on him while he was working and had to go inside the break room and sit down. Once again, that's just like I'd be like, Mason, you can't be here. You've been on break for half an hour. I just feels like there's eyes on me today, man. You know what I mean? Hey, you know, like Tupac said, all eyes on me, all right? I'm going to hang out here for another 45. His coworkers found him fast asleep, just left him there, thinking he was hungover or sick, and went to lunch. When they came back, Jose was sleepwalking large circles around the perimeter of the room, singing a lullaby.
This is just me when I have edibles. This is just me like on a bad trip, just like fucking walking around like London Bridge is falling down.
This scared the other employees so much that they got the park manager to actually drive him home. They didn't trust him to drive. And now Jose has to take a drug test because they think he's on drugs. Thankfully, he's
Rightly
completely clean. But also I love how they're like, this is terrifying. Which one of you is going to drive him home? Because I'm not going to.
Okay, we'll do the straw thing. Everybody fucking, fuck. Just the entire drive like... So Jose, how's Mason? Fucking hell.
Doing like the Manson, like, and like, what the fuck is your problem?
I'm just gonna put some music on. Okay?
You like the Arctic Monkeys? What about Tame Impala? When
I got home, I immediately took Mason to urgent care, who miraculously got us in a reasonable amount of time. We explained everything.
That's exactly what their job is.
Right, urgently. To urgently care for you. Yes. We explained everything. Everything. I thought the doctors would think we were insane, but both of them actually looked scared shitless. After a CAT
we're not
scan,
doctors. We're janitors. We just like to put on these coats. We should get you a doctor, though. You sound fucking crazy.
After a CAT scan, a blood panel, and several other small tests, they concluded that Mason seemed to be healthy, but needs a full psychiatric evaluation. They gave us a referral. He keeps talking about fucking eating people. So we recommend that you fucking send him to talk to someone.
It would solve so many of our problems.
They're just like, okay, delusions of...
Doc, I'm just saying that if I were dead, what's the difference between me and a cow? Huh? What's the difference between a juicy Mason steak and a cow? Huh?
Juicy Mason steak and
huh?
A cow.
You cut off a fucking...
Yeah, this is one of the most...
You cut...
Sir, we need to restrain him. Get security in here.
You cut a fucking piece of that off? That's good fucking eating, okay? There's no different from a steak.
This is one of the most advanced cases of psychosis I've ever seen. Oh, now you can't get up.
You want to come with me?
After a CAT scan, a blood panel, and several other small tests, they concluded that Mason seems to be healthy. Oh, I read that, right?
Yeah.
Right, okay. We'll have the blood panel back sooner. When we got home, Mason took a nap, and I went out into the woods across the street from our neighborhood, where I saw T-Way in the dream. For those of you who aren't caught up, it's pronounced T-Way, and we still don't know how he died. I wandered around the trees trying to figure out if there was something I needed to find. For about 10 minutes, I searched and found nothing. But then I remembered the phrase that many of the voices at the cabin kept repeating. Up in the trees or down in the hole. You go up in the trees or all the way down. Down, down. So deep, you never see the light again. It's my favorite Johnny Cash song.
Oh, yeah, that's actually... yeah, that's pretty good.
There were so many variants of that phrase, I can't remember them all. But I looked up at the tops of the trees, and voila, there was a little, crudely constructed object made from twigs and twine, dangling from a branch about 30 feet off the ground.
I think that's a 311 song.
What?
Up in the trees are way down, down. You'll never see the light again. Fucking 311.
Yeah.
They suck. I shouldn't say that. They don't suck. They're just weird. They're from a weird era in time.
Never heard of them. I'm going to be completely
You've never
honest
heard of 311?
No.
They're a real slice of early 2000 Americana.
Yeah?
Yeah, like 1998 through 2002. It's like they're a real slice of that.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll do our next Relax Fit. We'll do Mason and Jose react to 311's Down video.
It looked like the dream catcher we found at the cabin, but was obviously made with twigs from the very tree from which it dangled, so it was a different color and shape. I climbed up the tree and tried to retrieve it, but it was so frail it fell apart the second I pulled it toward me.
Hey, honey, you know those weird neighbors that keep running around at night?
Yeah.
They're, the one's climbing a tree now.
We need to call someone.
Who are we gonna call, Deborah?
The HOA? I don't know.
You think they're gonna say? You think? I don't know if it's illegal to climb a tree. I just think.
Call the cops! Oh my god!
Oh, well, he's white, sweetie, so he's probably doing it for a good reason.
Ah, you're right. He's not a liberal, though, is he? Because
well, sweetie, we're not the crazy ones. We're just the ones who sit and judge.
Right.
He can be a liberal. We just won't talk to him. He's not getting invited to our 4th of July barbecue again. Did you hear about those pedophile ring in the government? No, not Matt Gaetz, the liberal one.
No, not the one with actual substantial evidence. Not that one, no.
No, not the ones with proof. The other ones. The ones that we think are in pizza shops that don't have basements. Yes, I follow Q.
I climbed up the tree and tried to retrieve it, but it was so frail it fell apart the second I pulled it toward me. One thing about it stood out in particular. It had strands of fiery strawberry blonde hair dangling off it, just like Mason's. I need your opinion on this. As far as I know, Mason cannot climb trees. I mean, look at him. Then again...
I'll have you know, I have a primate's body.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've seen a hairless orangutan.
Yeah, I have.
But I look very
and
similar
it looks like
to
you. Yeah.
I have the body of an orangutan, so I don't want to hear that.
Then again, there's apparently a lot I don't know about Mason. For instance, just found out he's part orangutan.
It explains the hair color, too.
Yeah.
My fiancé went out around 7 p.m. and picked her sister Becca from the airport. She insisted I stay home and rest. I think he feels bad about how often he deprives me of my sleep. I reluctantly obliged. They came home around 9 p.m., and with them was Becca's son, Caleb. Caleb.
Khalid. The full-grown artist, Khalid.
Hello, it's me.
Khalid.
I know nothing about babies, but Caleb is pretty cool. He cries less than my students and is smarter than half of them. Fucking snap. And Faye absolutely adores him. Becca and I caught up over hot chocolate in the living room while Jose unleashed the full scope of her maternal instincts upon Caleb upstairs. He sang lullabies, laughed, and cooed, basically went mommy crazy.
That's me. I'm mommy crazy.
That when Becca leaves, I'm going to have to deal with Jose crying and wishing we already had kids.
Podcasting
children.
Right.
To do our admin at work and tech support.
That would be
We need
great.
an army of children for it. Becca is tough as nails. Just like Jose. And it comes from being raised in a strict military family. But having a strict dad also teaches girls and Jose to be expert liars. And I got the sense that Becca was selling me all sorts of fucking bullshit. When I told her about what we went through at the cabin, Becca is 5 years older than Jose and has already been married twice. Ugh. Gross. Used goods, am I right? Ugh, I'm sorry. That wasn't funny. She was 10 years. She has a 10-year-old daughter with her first husband. She claimed that she only went to the cabin at Pike Peaks once and said that the drive up there made her carsick. So whenever her parents went there with Jose as a little girl, he'd sleep over at a friend's house. She'd sleep over at a friend's house. Okay, so I see what he's doing is he has to now explain. He realized shit, I need a family member.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure I never mentioned that he has any family, so now I got to think about why. Oh, if they have family, why weren't they? Why was he in the cabin? Okay. Anyway, so the sisters. That was a whole paragraph just to say the sister always stayed at a friend's house whenever they went to the cabin. That's why we've never heard of them up until now. She also told me that she had no idea what the number 5 means to Faye, Jose, and dodged me like a minnow when I pressed. That's not a metaphor. Dodged me like a minnow?
Hey, I don't know, man. I just work here.
You ever said I'm dodging you like a minnow.
Nope, never heard that.
I mean, I guess, yeah. Anyway, I get the overwhelming sense that she is deeply troubled by Jose's behavior, and not just because it's creepy. She knows something she's not saying. Jose's entire family seems to be keeping me out of the loop about something. Something big. I think they're gonna get out me.
Yeah, that's what
I think
we're doing.
Jose's family is gonna turn me into. He's gonna put an old Hispanic man in my body.
A reverse Get Out. I'm gonna put my dad's friend, Marcos in your body. Like trying to think of
I just
old
think it's funny because it
Hispanic
wouldn't.
man names.
I assume he wouldn't get the accent. He'd be like, "Hola,
Right? Yeah.
Jose."
Yeah. ¿Cómo estás? But just like as a full.
Yes.
Hola, Jose. ¿Cómo estás?
¿Cómo estás there, pal? That's how I speak Spanish. I don't know. I'm like, hola there, amigo. Puedo ir a baño,
Just
huh, buddy?
like doing all the Hispanic stuff, but just in a white man body.
Yeah, like
like,
Patrick Burt Warburton.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
A very
Right.
tech.
Hola.
Hey, can I get dos tacos de carne
¿Dónde está
asada?
la biblioteca, huh? Yeah.
He's got the boots on and like the cowboy hat and like everything, but like like the Mexican style.
Yeah.
A very tech-savvy Redditor offered to help me track down Jennifer, and he delivered. Oh yes, Jennifer is. I think he says it. When I checked my email, nope, he doesn't explain who Jennifer is. So Jennifer was the previous owner of the cabin before Faye's parents had bought it. Fayeson, before her parents owned it. And it was a friend of the family who her husband always got a bad vibe when he went there, and then eventually ended up committing suicide or whatever. Yeah. A very tech-savvy Redditor offered.
He was also crippling addicted to cocaine, so
yeah.
It might not have been the cabin.
A very tech-savvy Redditor offered to help me track down Jennifer, and he delivered. When I checked my email that night before bed, he had provided me with an email address and a phone number of Jennifer's husband. She remarried after Tom hanged himself. Tom was so deeply disturbed by his experiences at the cabin that he couldn't take it, even after moving to Nevada.
Okay, Tom. I'm tapping my nose. I guess I realize you can't see that. I'm
For
tapping
the
my
audio
nose.
listeners, yeah.
Yes.
Or maybe he just couldn't take Jennifer. Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, what the fuck?
This guy
Jesus
killed
Christ.
himself. God.
Listen, Jennifer's a cunt. I would have killed myself if I were her wife, if her husband too. I'll be honest. She fucking sucks.
You're going to eat those words in a second, Mason. I emailed the guy, his name is William, and he got back to me the next day and asked me to call him. I explained the situation to him. He informed me that he and Jennifer had moved to Washington State years ago, but she started abusing prescription medication a year into their marriage. Over the course of a few weeks, she reportedly told William she'd heard her daughter, who died in childhood, calling to her from the forest outside their home. One night when William got home from work, the back door was open and Jennifer was gone. She left with her shoes and a jacket. Jennifer went missing for almost 6 months. A group of campers found her remains about 40 miles away. She had been buried in the ground with her legs sticking out. They had been gnawed clean by wolves. So this is just like the punishment that had been done to the I don't remember which tribe it was, but it was the one tribe that had attacked the miners was punished by another tribe, and they were killed the same way. And so they think that those became the hollow ones or whatever. At least that's what Felix has explained in previous stories. Anyway.
Yes.
You're up.
I just think Jennifer maybe she got what was coming to her.
What did Jennifer do?
That wasn't me. That was what the author said. I didn't.
Right.
The night I woke up to the sound of a baby crying. Jose was gone. My first thought was it was coming from him, because a few weeks ago he had accurately mimicked the sound of a child's cries. Oh, we gotta stop the podcast. There's a baby in here. Where's that baby? Hey, those improv lessons, buddy, they're working.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
He had accurately mimicked the sound of a child's cries while walking around the house at night, but this time it was Caleb. Yes, the baby in my house. I walked down the hall that led to the guest room and found the door was open. Becca wasn't there, and the crib was empty. I followed the sounds down the stairways, past the barf stain on the wall. I'm gonna strip that shit today. And saw Jose and Becca sitting on the couch. Jose was cradling Caleb in his arms, staring at him, and Becca was babbling on about her husband. She didn't notice that Jose was actually asleep. When Jose looked up at me, only the whites of his eyes showed. They were rolled back in his head, and completely, and he was completely out of it. He smiled. I stood there for a second. Hello. I stood there for a second. I just really disturbed at the scene and didn't say anything. Suddenly, something moved just outside the sliding glass door behind them. The door that leads out to our tiny little garden. It was almost pitch black out there, but the black shape of a man, a huge man, moved from the glass and vanished into the darkness.
Hey,
Someone had been...
Shaquille O'Neal, I'm out here.
Shaquille O'Neal?
Hey,
Shouldn't you be in the All-Star game?
Yeah, but I want to stop by and say hi. My friend Felix. Faye.
Well, we just appreciate that, Jack, so much. You're
Ernie.
you.
Ernie. She was possessed by a demon, Ernie. She was throwing up black shit everywhere, man.
That's just a terrible story, Shaq. That's terrible. I'm trying to do a Charles Barkley.
Yeah. I was outside their house. I was out there for hours, man.
Felix, I'm happy you showed up. I chased away it looked like a wolf kind of creature. I chased him away. I'd do anything to save you and your family. So anyway, I gotta go drop 60 on the Pistons. So
There's just a fucking celebrity cameo in this fucking creepypasta.
that was all verbatim in the script.
Yeah, that was
folks.
written in. Wow.
I stood there for a sec. Oh no, that was not where I was.
Moved away from the glass.
Someone had been standing there behind Jose and Becca, watching them play with Caleb. I took off out the front door, hoping to circle around and intercept the man. We live in a housing complex that has a walkway that goes behind all of our houses, and the only thing separating it from each backyard is a tiny little wooden gate that you can literally step over. Especially Shaquille O'Neal it would be nothing to him. It's mostly to keep dogs and rodents out. But I ran up and down the path and found nothing at all. There was, however, an oily black substance on the ground about 10 yards away from the back patio.
This monster came right outside the door, yeah.
But also, how dumb is fucking Becca that she was having a whole conversation about something and didn't realize that she was...
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last night, Faye started mumbling more lullabies in her sleep. Mason. Who the fuck is Faye, guys? I'm guessing it's probably because he's been thinking about Becca and Caleb's visit. And he loves kids so much. He also said,
"He's in the stains. He gets up and walks around in the dark."
Is that a song you're writing, Mason? What is that?
He's in the stains.
That's actually pretty good. I gotta record it. Mason. I took the advice of a few Redditors and asked him, Mason, what did you forget?
He needs me. He needs my tight ass.
Hey, Mason, wake up. Who the fuck? Are you cheating on me with a monster?
I'm asleep. I can't
You're
wake up.
fucking the monster.
I can't hear you. I'm asleep.
When she said it, a child laughed somewhere outside. Tomorrow.
I would love. How funny would it be? Because this monster, right? It can only talk in the sentences that it's heard people say.
Right.
For everybody that knows. How great would it be if someone just did someone with a ridiculous voice was the only. You know what I mean? It could only do like Gilbert Godfrey, Truman Capote, and Patrick Warburton.
Right.
Were the only three people he'd ever heard.
So
he
it's
just
out there
had
and
to
it's
keep being like,
Becca or Faye, let me into the house.
"Hey, just let me in. Just let me in." Oh, I can't do a good Truman Capote.
I was gonna say,
I'm not gonna try.
Tomorrow, the Shoshone woman who visited us last month is going to come back with her friend who specializes in hypnosis. I will report the results when I can. Again, please forgive me if it takes me a bit longer. This week is a nightmare. Update, I finally got a call from Nathan. More soon.
Jesus fucking Christ, white man. Stop fucking calling.
You are blowing up my phone. Fucking stop, man. I have to pay for the minutes.
I was gonna say.
I'm up on the fucking mountain, man. I don't get great service up there.
You're in California. These are costing me $3 a text.
It reminds me, it's like in The Office when Dwight texts his resume to fucking Joe. And she's like, I'm on roaming. These are costing me 10 cents a text, you moron. Anyway. Yeah, go ahead.
The last time I updated, Jose's older sister Becca came to visit with us. Her infant son Caleb also came. The presence of the child seemed to have awake. Was that a door opening or a baby
it kind of sounded
crying?
like it, right? Wah, wah.
Waluigi. The presence of the child seemed to have awakened something in Jose because his sleep disturbances have become more erratic and his usual behavior has intensified. Oh, unusual behavior has intensified. Okay, I was
Just
like...
my usual shit. I'm just like drinking water more intently. Like,
I just didn't think Kong versus Godzilla was that good. Oh, Jose, calm down. No one's really... I
yeah,
just
honestly,
asked.
if my usual behavior intensified, it would be borderline psychotic. Just me ranting about like the world of Kong versus Godzilla now. It doesn't make sense.
Yes. Alrighty then. Right. Unusual behavior became intensified. They stayed for almost a week, but left abruptly after a few weird experiences with Jose.
Ooh.
Becca seemed to be growing angry with Jose over the course of the few days, although I could never really discern why. One night, when Jose was asleep, Becca and I sat on the couch, and I talked more about what had been happening. I asked her why she seemed so hostile towards her sister, which she wouldn't even speak to her that day. And Becca replied, "Do you want to be Becca?"
Yes.
Okay.
Faye, Jose really has a problem letting things go. If he's mad at someone, he's mad for weeks. If he's hurt for years. He can't forgive and he can't forget.
All right, so that was the whole point. That's the end of the podcast. This whole podcast has been a long ruse to make Jose say that to himself. I'm not his friend. I'm his therapist. This was Shutter Island. It was a Shutter. This was a Shutter Island-esque scenario to make him admit that he has a problem holding a grudge and that he won't let things go.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I have not. What are you talking about?
All right. I asked, did you do something to make him mad? Are you two fighting? Becca denied that they were having any sort of conflict and that she was just speaking in general terms, having grown up with Jose. I asked if there was something in the past that made Faye or Jose angry, and Becca sharply responded,
Nobody did anything to Jose. Nothing happened to him.
At this point, she stood up and went upstairs, claiming that she needed to go check on Caleb and closed the door without saying goodnight. Fucking
All right,
bitch.
fuck you.
Fuck you too. Jose is sometimes difficult to handle because he's proud and stubborn.
I'm proud and stubborn.
He's the strongest person I've ever met.
I'm the strongest person you've ever met.
But her sister is like an obsidian wall.
My sister's like an obsidian wall.
You can't get any information out of her. You can't read her poker face.
Like Lady Gaga said, you can't read her poker face.
Poker face. You can't know what she's really thinking. Ever. But I fucking know that she knows something. and maybe I can't get it out of her, but I figured I'd be able to get it out of her mom.
I'm gonna seduce my fiance's mom.
Becca and Jose's mom, Laura, agreed to Skype chat with me this week. And this time, I'm going for the throat.
I'm going for the back of her throat. It's a blowjob joke, guys. That's what that was. I successfully removed all the vomit stains from the house, so Mason isn't talking to them in the dark anymore. But he is still getting worse. I feel like he's slipping away. Seeing Mason holding Caleb on the couch with his eyes rolled back in his head and smiling was one of the most disturbing memories I have of this entire ordeal. There is something about Mason and that child that deeply unsettles me.
I don't like this. Okay, listen, I don't like the way this is going.
But I've been keeping quiet and trying to make sure that Caleb is safe. I have no reason to believe Mason would ever hurt another person, except for the one time in college when he punched out a drunk girl at a party for grabbing my ass and saying, "I'd hit it." But as far as animals and kids go, Mason is angelic. Until they're dead, and then he's got a whole thing about, anyway. That night...
So you admit that animals and humans are the same once they're dead, though?
I did not say that. That's
You did.
Felix,
You
not
said
me.
once they're dead, it's a whole different thing, implying that it's in the
That
same...
you fucking try to eat them is what I'm saying. That you're nice to them when they're alive, but then when they're dead, you're like, yum.
I didn't kill him. Did I kill him? I never killed anybody, and none that you can prove. And also, I don't
what?
I don't understand why every time every time you see a child talk to me, you have to be like, you always have to quantify it with like, don't worry, man, Mason's never hurt a child that I know of. I don't like how you keep doing that to me. Okay, I've never hurt a child that you.
What?
No.
The night that Becca stormed off to bed mid-conversation, Mason did something odd. I woke up to him mumbling in the dark, and when I turned on the light, he was standing at the far end of the room, cradling a pillow in his arms and swaying back and forth.
I've held it like this, never hurt it. Never did I fucking hurt that child. I'm just saying.
Half singing a lullaby. The words were unrecognizable, but the melody sounded distantly familiar. I called out to him and asked, "Sweetie, what are you doing?" He replied in a low, grumbling voice,
"I always wanted to be a big sister."
His speech was slurred.
Yeah.
He sounded drugged. I got up and gently ushered him back to bed and took the pillow away. When I did, he said,
"Oh, now I want to be a mommy."
I rubbed his neck and assured him that I do want to start a family with him someday and that he would be a great mom. He then mumbled,
"When I'm through with him, he's gonna be nothing but a little corpse. Oh, yeah."
I asked, what do you mean? But he never replied. He just started that rhythmic breathing that lets you know your partner is fast asleep.
Oh, that was the Macho Man breathing that I was doing.
You know who else kills babies? My mom. I can't do a Macho Man voice.
What are you doing? That was like Shaggy trying to do Macho Man.
That was not Macho Man. That was Muscle Man from Regular Show. I misunderstood what you were referring to. Now I know you mean Macho Man Randy Savage.
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah, I missed the mark there on that one.
You did kind of sound like Muscle Man, though. You know who else likes that?
That's good. I like that one.
The one's in my range. There's a few impressions like Macho Man and Muscle Man are both really in my wheelhouse of impressions. Angela visited our house again that evening. For those of you who don't recall, Angela belongs to a Shoshone tribe in California. Thank you, Jose. Mm-hmm. And is the daughter of a very important tribal elder.
Jesus Christ.
I'm just gonna... okay. For those of you who don't recall, Angela belongs to a Shoshone tribe in California and is the daughter of a very important tribal elder. She was the first... first visited... Oh my fucking god. What the fuck? The Macho Man thing really... It fucked me over. She first visited... She first visited me and Jose when we got back to California and told us that a malevolent spirit called the Hollow One was infatuated with my fiancé and said that there was a dark cloud over Jose that could not be easily removed. Ooh. It's called depression.
Yeah,
I've tried. Once again, this whole story is just an allegory for you to try to realize some things about your own mental health, Jose. Yeah. This time, Angela brought her friend, who was a hypnotist. It seems like you think it's awfully coincidental that my Shoshone tribal friend has a hypnotist friend. They brought their other friend, a magician. Okay. And they inspected the house and yard. We told them about the barf stains and Jose's claim that he's in the stains. He gets up at night and walks around. Then, in private, I told them about baby Caleb's presence and how it exasperated Jose's behavior. I also showed them where I found the new Dreamcatcher. Angela said that this entity has many names. It is known to several different Native American groups. It is older than the Skinwalkers and is the
Progenitor.
Seems someone bought a thesaurus for this. And is the progenitor of many evil spirits that inhabit different places near the Rocky Mountains and Southwest. Her friend referred to it as a soul trader that snatches up a person's essence and takes it down into the dark, then enters the remaining body to seek out more victims. I don't know where the dark is, but allegedly that's where Jose is headed.
Catch me in the dark, guys.
Yeah, with too much exposure on this thing, both Jose and I have become tainted by it. This is why we were vomiting up dark bile. The stains still carried remnants of that evil. Angela spoke with Jose for a long time and concluded that he was still Jose.
Yeah, he's still an asshole. That's
But
still him.
Jose, how are you feeling today?
It's just like in the first Godzilla,
Yeah,
it's
okay,
very
that's
grounded.
Jose. Yeah, that's him. He's still there. But he's on his way somewhere else. He is making a spiritual journey into a place that she thinks is a good and safe, but in reality, he's being coaxed out of this world. Despite what has happened to us, a lot of this whimsical metaphysical talk is sometimes hard for me to swallow. But the hypnotist session with Jose did a good job of convincing me that there is something here, inside my house with us, always watching.
I'm always watching, Wazowski.
That's pretty good.
Thank you. The hypnotist had Mason lie in our bed, and we brought chairs from the dining room upstairs to sit with him. She put her hand on Mason's forehead and hummed a chant for a while. We can dance if we want to, we can leave this world behind. And if your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, well, they're no friends of mine. All right, he's in a trance. Then covered Mason's eyes with her palm, and asked a few questions. They were things like, "What is your name?" and "Who is your fiancé/co-host?" And all of Faye's answers were normal. Then the hypnotist hummed some more and lifted her hand. Mason's eyes were rolled back in her head.
Sorry, it's very funny.
Which only happens when he's in a sleepwalking state. His mouth was twitching a little. The hypnotist asked, "Who are you?" And he responded,
"I'm Mason."
The important parts of the conversation went a little bit like this. "Mason, can you tell us who is in this house?" Mason raised his arm slowly and pointed each person in the room out and said their name. Even though he was not looking at them, he knew where everyone was.
Felix, Becca, Angela, you.
And then she pointed at the wall and said,
Caleb.
He was in the other room. The hypnotist asked, "Is there anyone else? What about the man who has been following you?"
"Oh, right now he's outside."
We all glanced out the window to the tree line where I had first seen the figure walking back and forth in the middle of the night, mimicking Faye's sleepwalking. This time there was no one there. Angela asked, "What does he say to you? Is he talking to you right now?" Mason replied,
"No, I can't hear him. He's facing the other way."
The hypnotist asked, "And what are the dream catchers for? Who makes them?" Mason did not respond. He smiled a little bit. I butted in and said, "Mason, honey, I found your hair wrapped into a dream catcher outside. Did you do that?" He put a finger to his lips and shushed me. Then he put his palm flat against the wall like he was feeling for a pulse. After a few moments, he said,
"Oh, he's here."
Right when he finished his sentence, Caleb burst into tears. Becca and Angela rushed out of the room to go check on him. The hypnotist and I remained with Mason. The hypnotist finally went for broke and said, "Mason, sweetie, you wrote the number 5 on the window in the other room. You wrote it backwards. Why did you do that? Why did you do that?
Why'd you do that?
What does it mean? Did you write it for someone outside to see?" In that moment, Faye's eyes rolled forward, and Mason's eyes rolled forward, and his little green irises finally showed. He immediately looked back toward the door that led into the wall and said,
No, he's listening now.
and then he began hyperventilating and struggled to speak the words.
Whew. Whew. Oh, he'll find out.
The last thing he said was,
Yeah, no, wait, Jose.
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 My name in a deep guttural voice. It wasn't his own. Then the hypnotist pressed her hand against Mason's eyes and spoke a loud command in her native language. I think it was Shoshone, but I'm not actually sure what group she's affiliated with, and I didn't bother to ask because, Mason immediately woke up and seemed very confused about where he was, then started crying and reached out for me. I hurried over and held him in my arms. His body was so cold it was like he was a corpse. When he started crying, he said,
Oh, he wants to kill you. He wants you dead. I saw you in the trees.
Mason, you're fucking freaking me out, okay? Fucking stop.
Angela and the hypnotist. I haven't gotten her name. I don't ask a lot of questions. Hurried around the house, blessing it and burning sage. Then also recommended I call a Catholic priest for Jose's personal comfort, since he is a Catholic. They left
Catholic
a few
gang.
words. They left after a few words of parting, and Becca seemed really angry and
Becca's a
scared
bitch.
at this point. A little bit. She remained in her room for the rest of the night. I got a call about an hour later from Angela, who told me that she had discussed the situation with the hypnotist, and they believe Jose is in extreme denial about something, perhaps some sort of trauma. They said that he had repressed it so well that it was consigned to a place in his subconscious that only years of therapy or hypnosis could unearth. It was in a place of his mind that could not even be accessed by talking to him in his sleep. That is where the number 5 rests. And that is why the entity hasn't found it yet. Despite communicating with Jose in his sleep virtually every night, he's drilling his brain like miners digging for gold. And the fun didn't end there. We all went to sleep pretty early that night because of all the drama, but as I've learned on so many other occasions, going to sleep upset usually results in a night terror or some other sleep disturbance. For Jose, at about 2 a.m., he leaped out of bed, jolting me awake in the process, on God, and bombed down the hall like there was a fire. He started bashing his fists on the door to the guest room and didn't utter a single word. His eyes were shut. I flicked on the light, and I stood there in the hall for a second, stared stiff, but when baby Caleb started crying... I snapped out of it and rushed over there. I bear hugged my fiancé, trying to get him to stop making so much noise, and in return, he tried to bite me. Jose has never been violent towards me in his entire life.
Get the fuck off me, you fucking idiot.
Even in his sleep, he's always a very passive sleepwalker. Creepy. He's creepy. He's super creepy, but passive. This time, he was trying to rip my goddamn throat
I'll
out.
rip your fucking throat out like fucking Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse, you son of a bitch.
He was trying to draw blood. I fended him off and sort of apprehended him, and then walked him back to the bedroom. He was basically wearing me like a straitjacket. When I carefully put him back to bed, he whispered,
You'll go up in the trees. He went down in the hole.
Gross.
Becca was understandably furious the next day, but she swallowed her anger and drove Faye Mason down to the Catholic church at the town center. I went to work.
No! I don't want to go.
Apparently, and then he burst into flames when he entered the church. Apparently, they finally got one of the priests to agree to visit next week to bless the house. They explained that this wouldn't be enough, so he said he'd speak with a bishop of his diocese. That could take a while. That evening, Becca informed me that she had changed her flight and she now intended to leave in 2 days. I begged her to set aside her differences with Mason and try to get through to him. I said Mason needs his big sister right now. but Becca wouldn't budge. She seemed to be holding a monolithic grudge about something neither of them will tell me. I ordered pizza, Mason's favorite, in a lame attempt at lightening the mood around the house. But the two would only have casual, light conversation with each other, and the tension in the house was so thick I could feel it in my stomach. Mason and I retired to our room early and watched Game of Thrones in bed. We watched HBO's fantastic series Game of Thrones. We always recorded on Sunday because Mason is at work, and then we watch it during the week. I asked him if he remembered telling me that the imposter is sus and wanted me dead, or
I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it.
or that I was going to be put up in the trees. He said he did not recall saying any of that, but that he did have a dream about seeing me impaled on a tree branch high up in the air.
Listen.
He said my skin and hair were missing. Mason fell asleep pretty quickly, but I couldn't sleep at all. I remembered that Nathan, T-Way's son, had left me a voicemail a few days prior, and I had forgotten to call him back. So I grabbed my phone and went downstairs.
Like a full day trying to get a hold of Nathan, and then he calls him and he's like, I'm too busy.
Yeah.
He's letting Nathan was like, fine. Oh, cool. Yeah. What? Listen, actually, I'm just going to send you to voicemail, man. I'm actually I'm getting pizza tonight.
Are you fucking
kidding me?
The house was quiet, and Becca and Caleb were already asleep upstairs. I turned the TV on low to mask my conversation with Nathan. It was midnight in Colorado, but he answered the phone and asked me how everything was going. I told him everything. Yeah, I found like a weird thing on my nuts. I don't know, I was just like showering, and I was kind of feeling around, and I felt like a weird thing.
You should go to the doctor.
Yeah, but I just thought you... Oh, sorry. Oh, you didn't mean about that. You meant about the... Right, sorry, right.
About the nut thing. You should go to a doctor.
Yeah, for sure. Nathan had a lot to say. He apologized for making me...
Stop calling me. It's midnight in Colorado. I have a wife and a child.
He apologized for making me and Mason sick, but said that was a simple purging process that was very common treatment for many physical and spiritual maladies in his tribe. However,
you basically got my father killed. You want me to apologize for making you throw up, you bitch?
However, by my description of the barf stain events, it obviously did not work, and we were still under the influence of the imposter is sus.
I'm gonna quit the podcast. I'm gonna quit the podcast, Jose.
He said if we came back to Colorado, he would bring us to the elders of his community and request that they perform a more serious healing ritual. I told him that that would be Mason's call entirely, but I doubt he would go or that the imposter would let her. Last month, when I was in the cabin by myself, there was a blizzard that shut down the only road to the mountain. The ranger couldn't come up to check on me, but T-Way and Nathan, being the badass gentlemen they are, actually hiked up the mountain through the snow and checked up on me. You can read the story at the bottom of this post if you haven't, but basically on their hike back down, they heard Faye's voice calling out to them from inside one of the abandoned mines on Pikes Peak. T-Way went to investigate and was dragged into the dark by an unseen creature or animal. Nathan eventually found him dead, and parts of his skin had been flayed. The reason that I hadn't been able to get a hold of Nathan for several days was because he and a group of men from his community went back to Pikes Peak to investigate the circumstances of his father's death, and to explore the cabin. They camped for a few nights and even spent one night in the woods next to the cabin. Nathan heard T-Way's voice calling out for help over and over, crying and speaking Nathan's name. However, occasionally the voice would cry out in Zuni, which is a language that some Pueblo tribes speak, but their tribe does not. They speak Hopu. So Nathan was fairly certain that this was not, in fact, his father. They also heard children weeping in the forest. One of Nathan's friends left the tents to take a piss, and he claims he saw a naked child with grayish skin standing a dozen yards off, facing away looking up at the trees. He looked like a stiff corpse and was standing high up on the balls of his feet. This sight apparently scared Nathan's friend so bad he took off, grabbed his things, and went to hike back down the mountain in the dark and the cold by himself. Nathan and the others tried to stop him, but it was too dangerous to go after him. They haven't seen him since. What a stupid reaction. If you see something that scares you, stick with your group of people. Don't try to hike down the mountain by yourself.
I think there's a monster out there in those woods. I better go through them.
Yeah, pretty much. Nathan told me that he had recurring dreams of a child while on the mountain, of a child and of Mason. He said to me, "Tell me about the child, Jose." During our conversation, I had been standing in the living room facing the sliding glass door.
Okay, well, first of all, Mason's never hurt a child that I've seen.
Kind of sounds like he's hurt a child before. I was facing the sliding glass door looking out into the backyard right when Nathan said, "Tell me about the child." I saw a large shadow move behind the orange tree outside. I told Nathan to hold on a second and went to grab the flashlight from the kitchen. When I got there...
Sure, I've got nothing going on tonight. Fucking fuck Nathan, am I right?
When I got there, I almost collapsed in fright. The front door was wide open. From my door, you can see the tree line across the street. Someone was walking behind the trees. I could see them moving slowly between them. I set the phone down and ran upstairs to wake up Faye and Becca, Mason and Becca, but Mason wasn't in bed. I frantically rushed to Becca's room to see if Mason was with her, but Becca was fast asleep. I was really disturbed in my urgency when I woke her up. We turned on the light and she went to grab Caleb, but he wasn't in the little crib Mason had bought for him. He was gone. Becca turned into the Hulk in about 0.5 seconds flat. She started shrieking in rage and terror, screaming, "Where is he? Where is my baby? The baby! The baby!" Over and over. We danced around the house looking for Mason and Caleb, but we couldn't find them. And then I realized that she had taken them outside. We ran up. Fucking should have realized that right away, but we ran out there.
Don't worry,
barefoot.
He's never hurt a baby that I've seen.
We ran out there barefoot, straight to the trees, and came up behind Mason. My
Jose?
fiancé was standing there in her underwear, looking up at the trees.
Jose is... This call's costing me money.
I'm on roaming, Jose.
I'm gonna hang up
now. My fiancé / co-host was standing there in his underwear looking up into the trees. His arms were outstretched, holding Caleb up in the air as if offering him to someone above.
Take the child! Take it!
High up on... He's never hurt a child that I know of, okay, guys?
Take it! Take it! Take the child! Take it!
High up on one of the branches was the dream catcher, the one I had taken down and broken only days earlier. Now it was intact. Becca grabbed Caleb out of Mason's hand and shoved him to the ground, then took the baby back inside. I picked Mason up and rushed him back into the house. Neighbors were starting to come out of their homes to see what all the commotion was.
Honey,
nothing to worry about. He's never hurt a kid that I know of. So,
honey, that one that looks like he's definitely hurt a baby is trying to hurt a baby, I think. And that one that climbed the tree, looks like he's taking the baby back with the mother of the baby?
Wow.
Huh.
We should write a book about our experiences.
I don't love you anymore.
I've been sleeping with my tennis coach.
I've been sleeping with your tennis coach.
Wow. That brought us together, I think.
We get a happy ending.
Mason woke up on our way back to the back up the stairs and broke down crying, apologizing to both of us. Becca packed all of her things and stormed out of the house, grabbing Mason's car keys and drove off. Bitch, that is not your car. The police showed up within minutes, and I had to explain to them that the sisters had a big fight.
He's never hurt a child that I know of.
That the sisters had had a big fight that got taken outside. I said that Mason was drunk, so he took it a bit far and ran off across the street. Thankfully, nobody saw the baby, so I didn't get arrested for child endangerment. What else could I have said? They never have believed me if I told them the truth. They checked Mason out to make sure he hadn't gotten beaten up and asked him repeatedly if I was treating him all right. Then they left. Becca drove straight to the airport. Mason and I had to go pick up the car the next day. Fuck Becca.
But okay, I had this thought here real quick. Would this whole thing be solved if they just moved into like an apartment in like a downtown industrial area? It kind of seems like if he doesn't have a forest, there's nothing he can do.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. That's what it.
Just move.
Move to fucking New York City, man.
Yeah.
Move to LA. They live in California. Move to LA.
I don't even think I could get away. I wouldn't even have to worry about this monster and I live in downtown Oskaloosa, Iowa.
Yeah. I've got a Skype chat scheduled with Faye's mom, Mason's mom tomorrow. Becca texted me and said, ask her about 5. She knows.
That bitch knows.
If I get the answer out of her, I'll post a brief update here. but I won't make another post for a while. I'm sorry. Thank you all for the support over the past month. Now I need to try to put all the broken pieces of my home life back together. We're getting there. Gearing up, Mason. Hope you're ready. Hey guys, Jose here. I'm just adding this last minute. Looks like we're going to split this last bit into 2 parts to keep with the tradition of underestimating how long this creepypasta is and how much our dear friend Felix can write. So we will be back with the second half of The Mystery Unravels, my romantic cabin getaway, in 2 weeks for our next bonus episode, and that will conclude our tackling of the series. We hope you enjoyed this one, and we will see you next week for a main series episode back to our Urban Legend series. So thank you everybody for listening, and we hope you like this one, and be safe. Watch out for spooky ghouls that are stealing your fiancé/co-host's voice. Don't trust them. Don't trust them at all.